All right, we're live. Call this meeting to order at 3:01 p.m. Can Director Thomas start off with the roll?
President Brown.
Present.
Senator Kurtz. Here. Senator Rowe. Here. Senator Tillman.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Thielen.
Here.
Senator Galvazaria. Here. Senator Powers. Senator Cordova.
Here.
Senator Hernandez.
Unexcused.
Senator Newberry.
Here.
Senator Robinson. Here. Senator President Smith.
Here. Now moving on to the approval of prior meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve last meeting's minutes? Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none. Last meeting minutes are approved. Prior to approving this agenda, can we make a motion to amend the agenda to change the room number? 109. Oh, 109.
This is 7.
This is 7. Okay, can we move to amend the agenda to change L108 to L107?
I move to amend the agenda to read L107.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll make that change. Now moving on to the approval of the agenda, is there a motion to approve this agenda? Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing none, this agenda is approved. Now moving on to a call to the audience. Are there any members of the audience who wish to speak at this time? Okay. Now moving on to our only business, Senate Resolution 22. Is there a motion to discuss Senate Resolution 22?
I move to discuss Resolution 22.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, Senate Resolution 22 is on the floor for discussion. Would any members like to make a comment, statement? Senator Tobin? And additionally, I'll need placards up, keeping tally of who wishes.
So first of all, I would like to say thank you to all of the senators who work long hours and sat through countless meetings on this issue. As we all know, Senate Resolution 22 is a resolution to impeach our Vice President of Services, Ernie. Ernie is a great human being that no one can argue. Ernie is a dedicated individual, and I commend him on those fronts. However, as we all know, Ernie has missed multiple meetings. He has failed to represent the students he serves in multiple meetings where the students' voices deserve to be heard. In light of the letter that we all received sent by the Center for the Indian Education, I want to draw your attention to the schedule that I have here, if anybody wants to review it, on March 24th from CIE, in which the schedule directly contradicts Mr. Hernandez's claims as well as those supporting him. During the executive board meeting on Friday, March 24th, Mr. Hernandez was allowed free time from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. In addition, if you will recall that day, Mr. Hernandez called into the special session to appoint our Supreme Court Justice. Being in Seattle was no excuse for Mr. Hernandez to miss a board meeting he chose to miss. After being deemed unfit, Vice President Hernandez claimed to them and only then have a doctor's note excusing him from the April 1st event. The problem does not lie with the timing of the event, as we are sworn to uphold the bylaws until the day we depart office. The problem with Vice President Hernandez lies with precedence. This is the second time while in undergraduate student government that Vice President Hernandez has been deemed non-citizen. The first time in the 9th legislature, Vice President Hernandez was a senator who was deemed non-citizen on April 1st, 2016. Vice President Hernandez was not impeached, however, he was only voted non-citizen. He was warned. He was also warned this year multiple times by Chief of Staff Yvonne about his accumulating absences, and yet he continued to miss meetings, as well as failed to report those absences in the Chief of Staff Yvonne within a reasonable time frame. Vice President Hernandez also displayed conduct unbecoming his office on April 14, 2017, when a discussion regarding non-citizens was held. Vice President Hernandez was witness to Fleming's placard speaking directly to executive board members in an unbecoming way, as well as carrying an unprofessional attitude the entire meeting. After witnessing the actions of Vice President Hernandez on last Friday, as well as learning of his prior non-citizens, I wrote the legislation calling for his impeachment based off of precedents. We as undergraduate student government downtown members are held to a standard of professionalism and poise. Vice President Hernandez has failed to meet that standard on multiple occasions, as I mentioned above, with his absences as well as his demeanor. We set a very dangerous precedent with this impeachment. Today, we, the Senate, decide how future Senates will function. We set the precedents for bylaws, and we set the precedent for holding members of the government accountable. This is not something to be taken lightly. In the words of constituent Boyd, this is a reminder for everyone that you're required to do certain things for student government. When we don't do our jobs as student government, students suffer. Finally, to close, I leave you with a quote from Vice President Hernandez himself, which he stated on April 1st, 2016 in his interview regarding non-payasents. We always have to keep our students in mind. They need to know what goes on at our meetings, and submitting my work on time is a good way to get that information to our students. With that, I yield.
Is there any more discussion? Any other comments? Yes, VP Hernandez.
Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone attending this meeting, the media, as well as our Senate. I greatly appreciate the overwhelming support that I have been received in this entire time. With the non-payasents, as a student body representative, I do take accountability with that, and I do take ownership within that non-payasents. I did miss meetings that were required as a student body representative. Unfortunately, it was at conferences during this time, and that has been documented regarding the absence points. However, as I mentioned before, I do recommend to our next administration to really look at our bylaws and make sure that these conferences that students attend, they are excused formally with no points given. There are many senators in our organization who do go to conferences, and sometimes they are given strikes for this, and they're meeting with their constituents, they're learning with their constituents, and they're able to bring that back to our student body. As a statement that Senator Turbine has said, students suffer. When I do miss these meetings, I don't believe that students do suffer. I am continuously meeting with our students and continuously communicating with them. Also, Senator Turbine did say that I have failed to serve my students. I don't believe that is accurate at all whatsoever. And I do believe that I still continue to serve our students through events, through meetings, and through online communication. So with that being said, I have full faith in our Senate. And I believe that next year, our student body will be observing the next administration. And I myself will be holding those accountable as a constituent. So other than that, I yield the floor. Thank you.
Senator Robinson.
I just want to read a statement from Vice President of Policy Jenny Oliver, just excerpt out of it regarding this issue. We have students with real problems, with real issues, and want real solutions. A real solution to me is not spending an entire week working on the impeachment of a member who only has a few days left in office. Our administration will adjourn without day on April 28th, effectively ending our work for the year. And I cannot in good conscience say that this is a solution students are waiting for. I fully stand with this statement. I think that with good conscience, we can't do this.
Senator Del Rosado.
Yes, I was asked to speak on behalf of Nicholas Duncan, one of our student leaders here in downtown. He says, I believe that this impeachment of VPS Ernesto Hernandez is ridiculous. There is 1 week left of the school year and the impeachment solves nothing. If anything, this entire impeachment process is tarnishing what Ernesto Hernandez has done well this year for USGD and our ASU community. Set aside mistakes and absences, Ernesto Hernandez is wonderful at what he does, and I'm happy that he has served and represented me this last year. Impeachment with 1 week left of his term is probably the lowest thing USGD can be doing right now to solve this issue. Let Ernesto Hernandez have his last week in term, because after that, the new board can take over the positions. Do not impeach him. Yes,
Senator Newberry.
Thank you both for those, and I think we all need to remember that we're students and we're students first. This is student government, and our first duty in all of our actions is to learn and to grow as students.
Sorry. Are there any other comments? Any other statements? Senator Cordova.
Yeah, based off of that, I think it's important that from the situation of as a student government, we kind of learn from it and terms of this, like, maybe editing for next year's administration, the bylaws to make them a little bit more flexible for students to kind of be involved in other things, like, not just student government. Because where I do feel like meetings are important, that's not where the main, like, focus is on. It is like the actual, like, engagement part where we're out there, meeting with constituents, working with them, doing events. That's where, like, the actual representation happens. If you look at all of our meetings, most of the time our constituents aren't there. They're out there on different conference events, conferences, things like that.
Any other discussion? Any more statements? Vote on Senate Resolution 22.
I don't know.
Is there a second? Director Thomas, could you please do a roll call vote?
Senator Kurz. Senator Rose. Senator Tallmeyer. Senator Joseph. Senator Davis.
Nay.
Senator Rosario. Nay. Senator Powers. Nay. Senator Cordova.
Nay.
Senator Hernandez.
Absent.
Senator Newberry.
Nay.
Senator Robinson.
Nay.
And State President Smith.
With your vote of 4 ayes, 7 nays, 1 abstention, Senate Resolution 22 has been voted down. Now moving on to final statements. Are there any final statements? Yeah, Director Thomas.
I just request that everyone who read a text and someone else who could submit that to me.
Do you girls?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you to our entire Senate for believing in me this entire time. Thank you to our students for believing and supporting me in this effort as well. As I mentioned, I will be holding undergraduate student government downtown for Campbell next year. I'll be watching. I'll be on those live feeds. I'll be reading the minutes. I do have faith that our next administration will serve our students without a doubt. And I do hope that they carry on this empathy and the desire to foster community next year. As a student leader, I will be working with undergraduate student government as well on priorities that are important to our students and myself. So I do look forward to collaborating with our next administration on that. Other than that, I do yield the floor and I thank you for voting on this matter. And I also thank our audience for coming today. Thank you.
Any other final statements? Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting at 3:14 p.m.?
I move to adjourn this meeting at 3:14 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, the fourth special session will end at 3:14 p.m. We are adjourned. Audience members, feel free to stay for caucus. We're gonna move into caucus at 3:30, because that's when our agenda goes public, or it says we have to start. Take a break for 10 minutes, I guess. Oh, it was, 4, 7.
Real quick reminder, we're still live, so give me like 20 seconds to come live.
Just the live stream say.
We have never
We don't
done,
like separate meetings.
yeah.
It's just like.
Is it live?
Well, so in terms of the